So here's a quick entertaining post about a guy who, after years of marriage, and obviously a bad marriage, and not taking care of himself, he and the wife divorce, and he decides to take it upon himself to make some major improvements, losing a bunch of weight, that type of thing. And as a result of that, these positive improvements, gets himself a pretty good-looking girlfriend who I might add is younger. And to no surprise, the ex-wife is furious on multiple fronts here. He should act his age, he's immature, blah, blah, blah. And everybody around him is thinking he's midlife crisis because he's lost some weight and other things there. And I'll be going to go over here, guys, just to show you how people can react when you decide one day to say enough's enough, I'm making major changes, positive ones, and they just can't handle it because they're just not used to you doing that, or your positive improvement makes them look bad because they're not doing anything to help themselves. Title: Am I the a-hole for looking younger and dating a younger woman after my divorce? Now listen to this. It says, my ex-wife and I divorced 4 years ago. I'm 48 and she is 49. I was very overweight when I was married. I was also balding. I look like your garden variety middle-aged dad. Well, dude, then you should have let yourself go that bad. I know things happen, and I know you can lose the weight because you obviously do. I never really took care of myself. I existed for the family. Smack! Just smacked him earlier for another thing. Bro, what about you? What about taking care of you? Which was a mistake in retrospect. Since my kids were growing up, I decided to move to another state. In other words, they got divorced. I started going to the gym, and 2 years later, I was fairly lean, and I got a lot of tattoos. I also shaved my head. Soon after, I found myself a girlfriend. She's quite a bit younger than me, which has somehow become a point of contention. After my girlfriend insisted I try a nice hair system, oh boy, the difference was immense, and I look like I'm in my 30s. Well, that's great, man. I mean, he didn't need to go get a bunch of tattoos, but to each their own, his own. But he took 2 years to lose the weight. Obviously, it was in a healthy time for good for him. And he shaved his head since he was balding, so it didn't quite match up, And as a result of all these things, yeah, he got himself a girlfriend. Add a younger one. And she's like, okay, maybe you want to do something about that hair. But if he liked the buzzed head, he should have kept it. But that's his business. Now listen to this. I generally post pictures of my dog on an Instagram page, but I decided to put a shirtless picture of mine. I hopped out of the shower, I looked good, so I said, why the F not? What happened next was bombardment of messages from my kids and my friends. My children have never seen me with a hairpiece, and although they knew that I was exercising, they didn't know how much progress I had made. I also used to have a beard because I had a baby face. I decided to shave my baby face, and it's still there, but now it works to my advantage. Okay, so you had a moment like, you know what? I'm going to display my hard work and progress. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I'm not an attention whore. But, if that's like a one and only thing he was doing, fine. And everybody can't believe what they see here. On the other hand, I have been receiving some nasty messages from my ex-wife. How I should act my age. How I shouldn't ride bikes. How I'm having a midlife crisis. And how immature that is. Newsflash, she's your ex-wife. She has no say in the matter. And why the fuck are you talking to her? If your kids are out of the house, they're adults. At this point, there's nothing to talk about. Nothing. And she's messaging you, block, end of story. She's pissed off because you can, at your age, can get a younger girl, while she probably is having a very hard time getting a guy that, in her mind, is worthy of her, as well as someone that she is attracted to and feels like is a catch. It's easier for a guy to get a younger woman, a guy that takes care of himself and has his shit together, than a woman at a certain age to get a guy that she sees as a prize. A woman can get a guy, don't get me wrong, but a guy she values and all that. I become the center of gossip. My friends and kids send me screenshots every day of group chats about me. They're discussing about how I'm going through a midlife crisis. They even drag my girlfriend into the mix of it, how young she is, blah, blah, blah. I can't see what is wrong with anything I'm doing. I don't think improving yourself is bad. No, improving yourself is not bad. Now, I could kind of get where they're coming from with him getting a whole bunch of tattoos if he's never ever had a tattoo his entire life. And if I think he said riding a motorcycle. Because there's certain stereotypes with guys' midlife crises. Well, all of a sudden get that convertible, drive that around with the top down, a motorcycle, all that type of thing. But a lot of times guys in midlife crisis is because they realize, holy crap, I'm more than halfway through my life. I haven't done a whole lot of things. I need to get myself in shape, do some things, have some fun, bring back my youth a little bit so I can live longer and work on those things. Because he realized he gave his whole life to his family, which I got no problem taking care of your family, but he neglected everything about himself. And he's having a great time. But the fact that they're sending him group chats, everybody talking about him, I'd be like, look, kids, I'm your father, I love you, but enough of the bullshit. I'm getting my life back together. Okay, yeah, I got tattoos and a motorcycle, but you know what? I always wanted tattoos and a motorcycle. That's none of your fucking business. And as for my girlfriend, you don't talk about her. You don't give her a hard time, as long, of course, as she's being cool about it. But this is how people react. So, guys, you're going to make improvements in your life, expect some pushback because a lot of people just don't get it and they can't do anything about themselves. So good for this guy, but anyhow, no surprise there. The ex-wife is bitter and pissed off about it. Nothing will piss off an ex than getting a gal that is prettier and younger than she is. Perfect example.